Welcome back to the Midnight Gospel, where we fall asleep into dreaming of being there in our favorite Bible stories. Tonight, we begin with the story of the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish from the Gospels, where Jesus sat teaching by the sea. The air tonight is slow and heavy, not much moves. You can almost feel the stillness pressing in, like a soft blanket pulled up close. Somewhere in this quiet, an old oil lamp flickers, painting warm shapes on the wall. There's comfort here, nothing urgent, only gentle time passing like water moving over stone. These aren't sermons. They're stories retold slowly to help your body rest and your soul come home back to God. There are no lessons, only little quiet places where you can set things down. Nobody's watching. No one needs you to stay awake. The story is here to keep you company, not to teach. Each night, we open the forgotten pages of Scripture and let them breathe again, steadily, like the hush in a room where people speak in low voices and the lamps burn low. You are welcome to listen all the way through. Or just let your mind drift because this story has room for you, whether you hear every word or only a few. If you find comfort here, you can come back or subscribe, but there's no hurry. The invitation is always gentle. There's nothing more to do than be here and breathe quietly beside the story. Tonight, let yourself imagine the small hands of a boy feeling the bread's flour-dusted crust, the weight of a simple basket against his leg, warm voices gathering near the water. Jesus is there, but you don't have to look at him. Just notice how the evening settles around the crowd, how even the shadows seem to soften. This video was made to help you drift to sleep while drawing near to something holy. The peace you're looking for isn't far, it's woven into the ordinary, found in the stillness just before you close your eyes. Even if you fall asleep before the end, the story will keep walking with you. You're free to let go, the story's gentle night watch will keep you safe. You don't have to listen closely. There's nothing to learn. Just let it settle into your breath and let the quiet find you. The morning starts before my eyes open. There's a faint sound, a basket being set down, or maybe my mother's footsteps going soft outside my door. I stay under the linen for a little while longer, feeling how cool it is against my skin. Slowly I fold it back, the cloth dragging gently over the straw. It smells faintly of oil, something clean and warm. Light peeks in low from the window, thin as a line sliding over the clay floor, lighting up specks of dust. I just watch it move for a while. The house is quiet, except for a goat shifting in the corner, a muffled yawn from my older brother. I hear someone pour water into a basin, the splash soft and steady as breath. Let this moment stretch. My feet meet the floor, cold and rough. I stand, careful not to wake my youngest sister, who always clings to sleep as if it might run off. The day is simple, I think. I reach for the folded tunic at the end of my mat. My hands are small. The fabric feels strong and a little rough. My mother left some bread from last night on the table, half a loaf, torn but thick. The end is slightly hard, but I press my thumb into it and smell the hint of yesterday. No one speaks yet. The sun hasn't come up far enough to call out all the words. I hear only the rhythmic sweep of someone brushing dust into a corner, and a sparrow hopping between clay pots by the door. Even this silence is holy. I sit for a while on the edge of my sleeping mat, hands in my lap, not thinking much. There's nothing urgent to do. The baskets in the corner lean against each other as if they're tired too. I glance toward the low shelf, where a small jar of oil stands near the fresh water jug. My mother always sets them out like a quiet promise. Today there is enough. I watch my father lace up his sandals in the half-light. His hands move slowly. There's room for everything this morning, no rush. I listen to the hush, to the way the house gently wakes itself up. Let this moment stretch. Someone's outside, unfurling a rope for the donkey. The air sneaks in through the cracked door, smelling of earth and sun not yet risen. It's the time of morning when the heart feels as empty and wide as the sky, but that emptiness is its own fullness. The first voice is my mother's, low and kind, telling us to eat for strength. She doesn't make a sound bigger than she needs to. I nod and take a small bite of bread, chewing slowly. It tastes plain and good, like nothing has changed in 100 mornings. I close my eyes for a second. Let the day come. No one expects much from today. That's what I notice, the goodness in the smallest, least urgent things. The feel of sunlight on my shoulder. Bread shared quietly at the table. The gentle weight of an ordinary morning, carrying me, slow and safe. Let this moment stretch. Even if I didn't speak, I'd still be seen. Everything is held. The day yawns open, calmly, softly. Some days begin with a miracle. Most begin like this, in the slow, silent arms of a small home, with nothing to hurry, nothing to prove. Only a list of simple movements, and the steady kindness that God gives in ordinary hours. Let your breath fall slowly now. He asked for nothing and still felt full. Long before the crowds, before the talk of miracles at the shore. It was just morning, dim light folding over the clay walls. The day stretched ahead, but nothing hurried in this room, nothing expected. My mother set down the woven basket with the carefulness she saves for bread. Her hands were brown from sun and work, lines deep from dough kneaded before sunup. We did not speak. Her eyes met mine, quiet and steady, and then she glanced away, as if drawing a slow breath between chores. The basket was rough in places, woven by a neighbor last winter, softened by mornings like this, pressed into laps and palms. It held the small things that kept us going. She lifted the first loaf and let it cool in her hand. Bread not soft, not sweet. The crust was darker than the center, pebbled and uneven, speckled with bits of grain from the grinding stone. When she handed it to me, my fingers found the roughness right away. Not just at the edges, but the way the surface bent under a little pressure, like bark but yielding. You could listen to it crackle if the room was quiet enough. Let this moment stretch. Let the world disappear until it is only us and the gentle sound of bread against basket. She tucked the loaves into the basket, one by one. Each time, the same small motions, turning the bread so the harder crust faced out, letting the warmer circles rest beneath. The bottom of the basket scratched against the table as she gathered more. I watched her wrist move, the soft blue cloth sliding over the rim, making a nest for everything to fit just so. Next, the fish. Two, not large, not fresh, but wrapped with care. Leaves from the fig tree, damp to the touch, cool and living. She placed them down at the base, away from the bread. I could smell the brine and the memory of water. One fish pressed heavy on my palm before she took it, the other already curled tight inside its green coverings. The whole basket seemed heavier with the fish inside. She adjusted the cloth, not hurried, tucking it first around the sides, then gently over the top, making sure nothing would shift as we walked. I pretended to help, holding a corner, doing nothing really but watching and breathing. Even this silence is holy. We looked at what we had prepared: 5 loaves held by cloth and hope, and 2 fish hidden in leaves at the bottom. Nothing more, nothing less. She ran her fingers around the edge of the basket one last time. Her hand brushed against mine. It felt like saying goodbye, but not the speaking kind. I felt the weight of the basket before I even lifted it, the quiet promise of food and of hunger remembered from before. No words between us. There never were, not in these simple tasks. She gave another glance, softer this time. My heart pressed quiet thanks. Someone once said God listens to what we do not say aloud. I believed it, sitting at our table, watching a mother pack bread for the day. The dust outside settled with morning softness. The basket sat in my lap while she checked the room. Its shape was plain: circles inside circles, rim to handle, handle to bottom, like all baskets in our village. But I traced my finger over the cracks in the weave, the frayed knots, remembering other mornings just like this. I wanted to remember the pattern, to feel safe in it. Ordinary is a prayer sometimes. She nodded to herself. I stood. The basket seemed as big as my chest but fit easily in 2 hands. The cloth inside shifted just slightly. For a moment I pressed down, feeling the bread give way, a simple reassurance that it was real, that it was enough. My belly was empty, and so often it had been emptier. Yet here was more than I could carry alone. Let this quiet fill your breath. We stepped outside. The day waited, soft and empty. My mother moved ahead, sandals brushing the dust. I followed. The weight did not change, not heavy, not light. Just the truth of being needed, of carrying what others might overlook. I listened to the faint rasp of basket reed against my robe. Over and over, rough against smooth, then smooth against shoulder as I shifted it higher. These tiny sounds, like secrets exchanged between friends. Sometimes you notice the world most not in its noise, but in its waiting, the hush of morning, hands passing food slowly, gratitude sinking in without words. We reached the path that led down to the lake. I stopped to adjust the cloth. My thumb brushed the edge of bread, still warm but cooling quickly. Soft inside, harder on the crust, grainy as dirt, honest as stone. The basket was nothing special except that it held everything, and it was given. She pressed her hand to my shoulder. The lake was not far, laughter sounding faint across rushes and reeds. My hunger was quiet now, sitting beside the memory of days when the basket was empty. Let the story rest here for a moment. Let the breath get softer. Nothing is missing. The task was ordinary, hidden from the crowd. A boy and his mother preparing what they had. Tired hands shaping hope, not for crowds, not for miracles, but for the simple gift of being present and enough and held. I held the heavy, sacred basket. I asked for nothing and still felt full. No one noticed the prayer, but it was heard. The door makes no sound. I step out from the shade and into the slow-moving morning air. My sandals find the familiar dust outside. It's soft here, warmer than yesterday. Each step presses a small memory into the earth, but the earth holds them all the same, with no hurry or care. In my hands the basket feels sturdy, woven by my mother seasons ago. The bread is rough against my palm, the fish cool and still, wrapped in leaves. My thumb traces the rim in circles. Each circle is the same. Each circle is enough. Birds begin their slow morning song. Some are sharp at first, but most are gentle, no rush in their calls. It's the same as every morning. Wings flutter, feathers catch the breeze. A dove coos on a fence post. Somewhere a sparrow moves the air. The neighbors gather in twos and threes. Women with jars, young ones balancing water, men mending, children making games out of pebbles. Faces quiet, their words like water running downhill. People nod, sometimes smiling. No one is in a hurry, a donkey brays softly. Pots clink together nearby, someone rinsing lentils, someone folding cloth. There are reeds near the edge of the road that sway in slow motion. They make a sound like breathing, slow in, slow out. Even the light has a sound if you listen, a hush that lands softly on skin. Every step is the same. My heel presses, my toes lift, the basket tugs gently on my arm. There is no weight to it, not really. The road asks nothing, it only receives. I let my breath find its own pace, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Sandals tap the ground, tap, tap, pause, then tap again. I do not think about arriving. I do not think about the crowd. It is just a string of moments, measured softly by the rhythm of walking and holding on. Somewhere behind me, the house recedes into mourning. Here and there, a murmured greeting. Sometimes, a hand on my shoulder just for a second, just to let go again. The wind smells like wheat today and river waiter. A fly lands on my wrist. I brush it off, gentle, and keep on. Birds shift overhead. The reeds lean and crease. Even the clouds move quietly, with no need to say where they're going. I hear sandals behind me, more feet ahead, all of us threading the same old path. The horizon flickers with light. It makes gold on the fields and silver on the stones. I walk one step, one breath, then another. The only task is the rhythm, the next small step, the basket, the dust. Every sense is quiet here. Busy thoughts drift off, leave me lighter. Just the air, the road, the steady sound of gentle things. No one names the silence a prayer, but it is heard. Let this moment stretch softer and softer till nothing heavy remains. Let the birds and reeds and footsteps fill the room where you are now. Even the quiet is holy. Even now, God listens, without asking anything in return. Sleep if you wish. The story will wait. The road is always here, receiving, holding, never asking for more than this. He walked the last stretch down to the water, careful not to spill the basket, 5 loaves shifting softly, 2 small fish wrapped in cloth. Each step felt a little lighter as the sea came into view. The sun was quiet, hiding behind a long, low cloud. Beside the shore, the water stretched out, breathing in and breathing out, in and out, a steady hymn no one had to remember. He stood for a moment, just listening. The waves moved slow, folding onto sand, then pulling away again, hush, hush, like the world's own soft breath. People arrived from nearby hills, walking in small groups, voices low and full of expectation. Most of them sat on rocks or along patches of wild grass. Some leaned against tired trees. Children darted close to the water, their laughter briefly rising before falling quiet, as if even they felt the gentle hush wrap around this place. He found a flat stone halfway between the crowd and the sea, close enough to hear the murmurs, far enough to let the quiet settle. He set down the basket, careful not to crush the bread, careful not to think ahead of this peaceful moment. His knees found the earth. He let his hands rest in his lap, the rough weave of his tunic cool beneath his fingers. By the water's edge, everything moved slower. The breeze brought the salt and sweet of grass. Waves drew lines in the sand, smoothed them away again. The boy watched the patterns, breathing in as the water came close, breathing out as it slipped away. In, out, in, out. Let this moment stretch, he traced the slowness. A mother pulled her child close, wrapping a shawl around them both. Someone passed a piece of fruit, cut into small pieces. The sound of swallowing and sighing, small, quiet acts of preparation. Even this silence is holy. Clouds moved overhead, tugging shadows gently over the crowd, painting everything in blue and lavender. No one spoke for a while. A bird landed near the water, tilted its head, and waited with them. The boy's breath matched the rhythm of the sea without trying. He closed his eyes and listened, water arriving, water leaving, peace coming close. He thought about nothing much. Maybe the feel of his mother's hands patting the bread flat. Maybe the little nick on his thumb from a thorn that morning. Ordinary things. The kind that filled the empty places slowly, without any effort. Time here was not a thing to hold or to chase. Time softened like dough rising, stretching itself out across the afternoon. Even the crowd seemed to forget the hurry of the day. People leaned against one another, or simply let their heads tip back, eyes closed, trusting the next moment to arrive without their help. The boy let his feet rest in cool sand, toes curling under. The basket sat beside him, safe and plain. He wondered who else had carried food today, who had boiled lentils or wrapped dried figs in cloth or counted flatbreads in the morning light. He asked for nothing and still felt full. A slow wind pressed the tall grass flat, then let it rise again. The water kept breathing, steady, gentle, never in a rush. The world seemed to slow with it. The Lord knows our breath, even the smallest, even now. No one noticed the prayer, but it was heard. Let your own breath follow the water's rhythm, in and out. No one needs to hurry. No one needs to know what comes next. Just the sea breathing, just quiet company by the edge. The night listens with you, you can let go. God is near in these slow, uneventful moments. Even if you drift away, the gentleness keeps going. The waves will keep folding, the air will keep holding you, the story will stay alive. Right here by the water's edge. There are days when the heat presses close, and the dust from hundreds of feet feels like a soft cloud settling over everything. This was one of those days. I sat on a low stone at the edge of the crowd, the basket on my knees, watching my own hands knead the rim of woven reeds. From where I sat, I could not see the man everyone whispered about. Not really. Only his shape, sometimes blurred, a shift of cloth between the taller men and women. Voices drifted. Not words, not really, but currents, rising, falling like water flowing around rocks. A mother behind me hummed to her baby, her voice threading through the air in gentle loops. Two men near my feet spoke quietly, leaning in so their words weren't for me, or anyone but each other. Even this silence is holy. Someone asked if there'd be food. Another person just shook their head, not minding the answer. Folks said the teacher's words changed things, but I only heard the soft thrum, like wind in willow branches. I let it wash over me. Sometimes the breeze caught a phrase and it hung above us, sharp and simple, before falling away. I never tried to catch it. It rested in me anyway, like shade under a tree. A girl, maybe my age, picked at her sleeves and stared at her bare feet. Our eyes met for a moment, not to share a secret, just to notice we both knew how to wait. Even this silence is holy. Not everyone paid attention. Some people talked about what to make for supper or whether it would rain. Someone laughed softly, hushed a child. Mostly the crowd leaned in, not with excitement but with a long, gentle patience. It felt like the hour just before sleep, when something in the air quiets everything you thought mattered. The rhythm of waiting became its own kind of music. A cough, the slow creak of a basket handle, a foot shuffling in dirt. Even this silence is holy. Just then the sun slipped behind a thin cloud and the edge of the world softened. I pressed my thumb into a dimple on the bread, feeling the crust flake a little under my nail. I noticed it was still warm inside. I didn't mind waiting, not for anything in particular, not even for the teacher, just to have a place in the hush, close enough to hear the gentle breath of something I didn't have words for. No one noticed my prayer, but it was heard. At the water's edge, a fisherman mended his net without looking up. He moved slow, steady, like he could do this forever. Somewhere, a dog barked once, then nothing. Even this silence is holy. Someone near the front called out, his voice swallowed quickly by the crowd. Arms folded, feet rested, old women leaned together, waiting, listening still. No one knew what would happen next, but it didn't seem to matter. Not in this moment. I leaned back on my hands, let the grass press cool beneath my palms. I breathed in, slow and careful. The murmurs, the scattered words, the rhythm of people just being close, this was enough. Even this silence is holy. He asked for nothing and still felt full. Let the moment stretch, the sun settling, the crowd waiting. Even this silence is holy. The night listens with you, the sun crawls higher, warming the backs of those sitting close together. I shift a little, adjusting my tunic so it's not tight at my shoulder. Most people are quiet now, even the younger ones. The kind of quiet that comes from heat and waiting, and just being together for longer than you meant. A jar of water passes by, light catches where the clay is chipped. I press my lips against the rim and breathe in first, letting it cool me before I even drink. Someone coughs. I hear sandals scuff the packed earth, a slow, dragging sound. And then it goes still again. My basket rests by my feet, just where I left it. I touch the rim, rough and dry in my hand, and remember the shape of the loaves and the little fish hidden inside. I keep checking, not because I'm worried, just because it's something to do. Each time my fingers circle the lid, I remember what's real. The warmth of bread, the gentle weight of giving. Time feels wide here. A whole afternoon opens up like a scroll slowly unrolling full of names I can't read. I close my eyes, one breath at a time, and let the heat settle in. My chest rises and falls again. I notice how everyone around me is breathing too soft, even trusting the sun to finish its arc. I watch leaves above me, their veins bright and thin against the sky. Some tremble in the wind, just enough to make a shiver. Far away, a few children chase after nothing in particular, their laughter skipping like stones on water, quick, then gone. The rest of us listen to the tired hush. Some people shift their feet or take another slow drink. Others just stare at the fields, faces softening in the salty light. Let this moment stretch for you, too. There is no hurry. Just quiet company, the sun, and the sound of your own breathing. A woman nearby pulls her shawl over her face, hands careful and calm. An old man hums something that feels like the end of a lullaby. Every movement belongs to the afternoon. Even the grass nearby keeps its own rhythm, trembling when the wind asks, flowing low when it rests. Sometimes my mind wanders to the edges of sleep. I let it drift, eyes half closed, watching how shadows slowly slide toward the water. Nothing calls for me. No one expects a story. Even this ordinary boredom is holy. People murmur, tiny whispers of thanks or questions, too quiet to change the air. I think maybe these soft prayers are the only language God needs right now. If you feel your body tired and slow, let it keep its pace. Let the daylight pass over you. Every breath is still a prayer, held gently between the pressing hours. Hours pass this way, almost unnoticed. The day feels wide enough for whatever is unspoken. I wait, and the basket waits with me. He asked for nothing and still felt full. I watch and breathe and keep holding this small piece of the day in my hands like anyone might. No reason, no need, only quiet trust that even the slowest time is seen and received. Just let it be, and let your breath follow. Even the silence, right here, is holy. The night listens with you. It was the kind of hunger that moved quietly, a small, living ache. It grew as the sun tilted higher, sneaking over the shoulders of parents cradling their children and the wandering feet of neighbors brushing against flattened grass. It was never loud, not even close, more like a gentle sigh winding its way through the open air. You could hear it if you listened, the low song of empty stomachs, the soft gurgle and hush. No one spoke of it, but the whole hill seemed to breathe with it, together. The boy sat on his haunches, the basket pressed against his legs, rough, woven reeds itching beneath his palm. He pressed his fingers lightly along the cover, tracing the rise and fall of the bread inside. 5 loaves still warm from the morning, 2 small fish wrapped with care. Everything still had its shape and weight, but as the shadows stretched, he felt heaviness rise, bigger than food, denser than bread. He noticed it sitting with the crowd, worn sandals, tired ankles, backs bent just a little, movement slowing as if everyone had agreed to move in time with the quiet ache of waiting. Some people opened little cloth pouches, taking out a bite, then covering the rest, cheeks moving slow as they chewed. A tall man passed a broken bit to the child leaning into him, then tucked the crumb away, eyes drifting out toward the water. A woman rested her hand gently on her child's belly, pulling her close to her chest, as if her hunger could be shielded with an embrace. The air was not tense, just soft, padded with patience and the way people sometimes know how to be together in need. Even the chatter faded, so every small sound, the shifting of feet, the stomach's quiet protest, the ripple of a robe became its own story. No one tried to push forward. No one left. The silence grew, but it felt less like an emptiness and more like gathering. The boy felt the heft of his basket, heavier now not by bread but by his noticing. He didn't know if it mattered, if what he carried could do anything. But he sat still, hands curled in his lap, feeling the hush settle and stretch. Waiting almost became its own kind of bread, a slow filling up, somehow gentler than eating, almost holy, as night drifted quietly closer. Let this moment stretch. Even this patience is sacred. The night listens with you. When the sun sat low, my basket grew heavier against my lap. People talked nearby, their words folding over each other like quiet waves. It was only bread and fish, bread I had watched cool on the stone, fish my mother had salted early that morning. The bread smelled like home, thick and plain. The fish were just enough for a simple meal. I liked how they filled the basket. Not too much, not too little, balanced. I kept my hands on the rough edge of the handle, thumb brushing the weave. There was a slow hush all around, the kind that falls near evening when no one wants to say the first word. Dust moved soft as breath along the ground. I waited. I could hear a name spoken near me, the man at the center, they said. Far off I could see the crowd leaning in as if listening to wind. There was no rush. Only a gentle hand on my shoulder, startling at first but kind. Just a small weight, like someone reminding you you are seen. My basket was noticed, though barely with a word. Someone's eyes met mine. Not with asking, not with wanting anything, only waiting. I hesitated. The bread felt even simpler. Would this feed more than me? My fingers tightened on the edge. I thought of just holding on. Maybe it should stay mine. Maybe it wasn't special enough. Around me no one stared. No one pressed. The evening air seemed to pause with me, like the world waiting to exhale. Something soft moved through my chest then. Not a voice, not a command, just a gentle peace, as if letting go would make room for air. My hands relaxed. The basket lifted. Slow, steady, I stretched it out. It was nothing grand. Bread simple. Fish plain. My heart beat quiet. I gave the basket away and it felt strange but clean. As soft as a breath leaving my lungs. No one made a sound. There was no shout, no song, no trumpet. Just a glance, a smile, a nod. The man at the center met my eyes for a second, a thank you with no words. He asked for nothing and still felt full. I did not know what would come next. Maybe the food would be enough, maybe not. But as the weight left my hands, I was lighter. I noticed the sky bigger overhead. My lap empty but warm. Let this moment stretch. Even this silence is holy. The night listens with you. He sits on the grass, knees tucked close, hands empty now. The basket is long gone, making its way down the sloping hill. Even the wind is tired out from the day. It plays with his hair, not rushing, not loud, just here. Bread moves from hand to hand. Fish, too. Simple, steady like the sun drifting over the water. The crowd is so quiet that every shuffle, every small clearing of a throat feels big. But the moment stays gentle. With each pass he watches. A little more bread, a little more fish, fingers brushing, palms opening. He notices breath. How everyone, hungry and waiting, inhales a little deeper when the food arrives in their lap. Each hand lets the moment stretch, as if the world grows softer with every bit of bread passed, every piece of fish shared. With every hand, let this moment stretch. There are sighs of thanks, but they don't rise above the evening air. He hears them anyway, soft like the hush of a sleeping goat, warm in a barn at night. The small murmurs ripple outward, mingling with the breeze. Faces loosen. A mother's shoulders drop. A grandfather smiles without teeth and no one laughs at him. Children sit still, their mouths full, settling into the feeling of not needing anything else. He does not feel important, just curious, tucked away in a pocket of grass, looking as the food moves farther from him now, hand to hand, quietly, without anyone making a big thing of it. All his worry, did he bring enough? Was it foolish to offer? Dies down here. Each time someone takes a piece and passes the rest along, he feels lighter. The burden shifts, not by miracle, but by simple kindness repeated over and over. No one cheers. There's no surprise. Only gentle smiles, small nods, a touch on the arm. He closes his eyes for a moment, letting the flow of gratitude move through him, just like the basket before. In time, he hardly knows where he ends and the crowd begins. Even this silence is holy. He listens to the rhythm, the earth beneath him, hands meeting bread, crumbs tumbling. Someone says, "Thank you," in a voice as ordinary as washing feet at the end of the day. The murmur travels, a current of soft thanks carried on the breeze. With every hand let this moment stretch, he breathes out, long and slow, as bread and fish pass beyond where he can see. Still, he keeps watching, watching the way gratitude moves across a face, noticing the way hunger turns to rest. Then another silence, almost warm enough to sleep in. Nothing spectacular happens here. No one turns to look at him. Yet, even as the sun slips lower behind the hills, the boy feels the hush settle deeper. The crowd eats together, and the world feels as if it is holding its breath, full, unhurried, blessed by every ordinary passing. Tonight, he lets himself wonder if this is what it means to offer something small and find it held. With every hand, let this moment stretch. The afternoon was long. It stretched out in a warm hush until the sun slid lower, turning gold across the grass and shoulders. I sat on a small stone close to the others, hands dusted with flour and crumbs. My basket felt empty now, light as air. I ran my hand along the woven reeds, felt each place where it had rubbed smooth from carrying. All around, faces were softer, full content, no hurry left, just slow chewing, slow breathing, people settling their hunger. A little boy sleeping in his mother's arms, her hand resting softly on his hair. Old men with bread crumbs in their beards, nodding as if each quiet mouthful was enough. The lake was smooth again. Evening softened its edge, made everything gentle. I watched a bird skim low over the water, its wings barely stirring the calm. Shadows grew longer under the trees. My bare feet pressed the cooling stones, feeling the day slip away with the heat. The air was still, not heavy, just waiting for night. No one said much. Words fell away as the crowd finished eating. The sound of laughter rose up in quiet, low notes, shy at first, then in small groups, spreading like a flame that means people feel safe. There were thanks whispered in the hush, but nothing showed off. No one pointed. No one claimed. I looked up, sky bending, blue settling into dusk. My hands were empty, and I felt hollow in a good way, poured out, then somehow filled again by the peace settling into everyone. It was as if my own hope and hunger had been handed out, then returned in a new shape. Not bigger, not heavier, just changed. As we finished, those nearby picked up every crumb. No scraps wasted. Bread tucked into folds of cloth, fish bones carefully wrapped and collected. Even in the calm, nothing was thrown away. I liked that. It felt respectful, like we were asked to take care of even the small things. Even tonight, even now. I breathed with the evening, slow, careful, letting my chest rise and fall with what was left of the light. My eyes blurred a little, not sadness, just the fading sun. Everything in me wanted to hold on to this quiet. The day was almost over, but it still held us. No one noticed the prayer, but it was heard. Here, in the softening light, calm found its way into bones and breath. Hands resting in laps, murmured stories about the long walk home, distant bells, but for now we just stayed still, letting the gentle dark do its slow work. Nothing grand happening, only hearts unwinding together, unhurried. The night didn't rush. Even the miracle faded quietly like the sun. I stayed there, just watching the light smooth itself over faces I'd never see again, offering myself and being received without noise. He asked for nothing and still felt full. Let this moment stretch. Let it lean into evening, with the sky above and earth below softening with each breath. Let even this silence be holy. He sits still for a long while after the bread and fish are gone. Nobody seems eager to stand. They remain seated on the cool grass, shoulders touching, robes gathered around knees. Something warm moves through the silent crowd, not noise, just a gentle staying. The sun has drifted low, leaving slanted gold across the sandy ground. Someone lets out a slow sigh, and it fills the air like a quiet song. He presses his palms into the basket's base, feeling the familiar weave, rough and steady. The night gathers around them. The noises fade away. No more shuffling, no loud thanks, just a hush that settles deep. He doesn't look for words, but the gratefulness is there. It sits all around, as calm as breathing. Maybe nobody can see it, but everyone feels the softer air. The night listens with you. A woman near him closes her eyes, leaning forward just enough. Her lips move barely, the smallest whisper. He cannot hear her prayer, but still he knows it. No one wonders what was said. The prayer is as quiet as folded cloth smoothing the dusk. Another man keeps his hands open in his lap, fingers resting. He doesn't do anything, just sits. Gratitude lingers, silent, steady. He feels the peace settle into the spaces between people. No one gathers their things. No one hurries away. Even the children stay, miraculously calm, listening to the gentle sweep of evening wind, watching dust spin in the last light. He breathes deeper, almost as if the miracle is still happening, quietly, now inside him, where nobody needs to know. The night listens with you. He picks up a corner of loose linen, folding it softly between his fingers. The work is slow, without effort, the kind that asks nothing in return. He sees his mother a little ways away, already smiling at something unspoken. He lifts his gaze up. The moon ages slowly into the sky, honest and round like bread just before the breaking. He closes his eyes. His lips shape only a wordless prayer. Thank you. He says nothing at all, and yet somehow it feels heard. All around people rest, let go, lean back. Gratitude slips from heart to heart, invisible but real as a stone warmed by sun. The night listens with you. He asks for nothing and still feels full. He is not the center. Nobody is. Everything is quiet now. Everything drifts closer to rest. He whispers, Lord, hold us as we sleep. Stay with us until morning. Even as I close my eyes, you see me. I don't have to carry more than this. I am known. My breath is safe. Stillness holds me. The Lord knows my breath. I am not forgotten. God walks slowly too. Grace is here. The night listens with you. Amen, amen, amen. Most of the crowd is going now. Mothers gather up baskets and smooth shawls over sleepy children. Fathers check for sandals, reaching for water jugs left in the grass. Around me, there's a soft sound of sandals brushing dust, people talking low and careful, like no one wants to wake the calm in the air. My basket is empty, lighter than it was at dawn, but my hands still curl around the handle, remembering the weight, how carefully I carried it through the morning light, across stones still cool with night. Now I step back onto the packed earth, following the muddy prints left by others. Each step is quieter, less rush, less need. Around me, the sounds grow softer still. The boys who ran wild earlier are walking now. Their laughter is just a memory, fading in the hush that settles over tired feet. No one hurries. There's no need. The miracle is finished, or maybe it keeps going quietly inside my chest. I look at my hands. Empty, but for the memory of passing bread, piece by piece, into waiting palms. The shore is nearly clear. I hear a woman calling softly for her daughter. The smaller crowd split into families and friends, heading in different directions. The sound of voices becomes a gentle mist, thinning as the distance grows. Some say thank you with their eyes or a quiet nod. Some are already lost in thought, walking with heads bowed, shoulders slack with peace. I follow the path I walked this morning. The dust is cooler on my feet. The light has softened. It's less golden now, more a gentle wash over the hills. It makes everything quieter, as if the whole world is exhaling at once. I pass by a stone I remember from earlier. I brushed it with my toes on the way here, nervous and early. Now I just step over it, calm somehow. The empty basket swings on my arm, knocking gently against my leg, hollow and familiar. There is no hurry in my steps. My footprints land inside the old ones, but they feel different, slower, steadier. Something in my chest unwinds. The air is cooler. The path is almost empty. I can hear only a handful of voices now and the steady creak of a distant cart. Every sound is softer. Murmured goodbyes, sandals dragging, the last ripple of water where the shore bends away. Even the sky is quieter. I keep walking. No one notices. But it is enough just to walk, to breathe, to feel the day settle into memory, lighter now, but somehow more full. There's no need to think or say much. This gentle emptiness is what's left, a place for peace to stretch out and stay. He asked for nothing and still felt full. I walk home with the basket pulled close, my steps slow, the path familiar. The sun is growing soft, almost gone. Smoke winds from doorways in loose gray ribbons. I watch it hang in the air, above the rooftops, above the day that is ending. People are talking, but their voices have turned quiet. No laughter now. Just the clinking of bowls, someone closing a wooden door, the hush that comes when dinner is almost over. The bread I once held is gone. The fish too. Yet the basket feels heavy in my hands. I don't know why. I just keep holding on to it. I walk past old men with bent backs, women gathering laundry in their arms. They nod to me, gentle, as if I am returning from any other day, as if nothing has changed. I nod back. Nothing special. Nothing to see. Only a boy coming home after being gone. But I carry the basket as if it still holds all the bread in the world. There is warmth from the fires. You can smell lentils, garlic, salt. People are washing their hands. People are scraping plates. Everything is small. Everything is slow. I walk down a narrow lane. Stones shift beneath my feet. I notice how the alley is almost dark now. Just a sliver of sky still holding some light. I hear a dog settle in straw. I hear a mother calling her children in, one by one by one. I look into the empty basket. I see the weave of the reeds, the places that are worn thin. I touch the rim with my thumb, over and over, thinking of the bread that is already eaten and the fish that have been shared. There is nothing left, but I hold it as if something remains. I can almost feel the weight of the food. I can almost feel the blessing, quiet and steady, settled in the space where the bread had been. My mother stands in the doorway. She wipes her hands on her apron, then just looks at me. Her eyes find the basket, the empty basket, and then my face. She does not ask anything. She only nods. I nod too, that is enough. A soft, wordless welcome. Inside, the light is gold. Shadows stretch along the walls. The room smells like warm bread, though there is none tonight. My mother sets another bowl at the table. She does this without a word, as if it has always been done. I sit. I rest the basket beside my feet. It leans against my leg. Empty, but not empty. I hear the neighbors in their homes finishing words, finishing meals. The world gets quieter. Only a little noise remains, like a hand smoothing a blanket at the end of the bed. It is easy to breathe here, easy to sit and remember. I remember the grass under my feet, the way a hand passed the bread to me, the food returning, again and again, until all were fed. I remember how the day felt too big for me, but then everything became small, simple, held, as the sun slipped down and the baskets emptied. My hands rest open. The memory of bread lingers on my fingers. The memory of fish drifts in the air, nearly gone. I am only a boy returning home. I will sleep soon. I will let the memory tuck in around me, soft as linen, light as breath. Everything is slower now. Everything is safe. There is no more to give, and yet the basket feels full, in some secret way, heavy with the memory of blessing. Each night becomes a new beginning. Each night gathers what is left and lets the rest sink into darkness, quiet and sure. I lay down, knowing that even the smallest offering rests in God's hands, remembered safe enough. In the hush, even this silence is holy. Even empty hands are held. Even a quiet meal is a gift. The day presses gently into shadow, into sleep, pressing seeds into the soil. Nothing wasted, everything held. Even now, even here, we sit together on the floor, knees just touching. The sun is nearly gone, its last bit of gold slipping over the hills outside our window. Shadows fill the corners. Our small house grows quiet again, the day's voices trailing off into other homes, other rooms. A loaf rests in the middle, waiting. Its soft crust has cracked a little as it cooled. My mother reaches for it, her fingers pressing gentle dents in the warm bread. She doesn't hurry. Her eyes are soft, her mouth almost smiling, like she is listening to something only she can hear. She breaks the bread slowly, thumb sliding along the seam. A hush settles as she pulls it apart. The inside is warm and pale. Steam slips out from the break, carrying something sweet, like sun and wheat and the smell of morning. She offers half to me, placing it in my open hands. I feel the heat trapped inside the loaf. Holding it, the soft middle leaves a faint dusting on my fingertips. I remember the bread from earlier today, how many hands passed it, how it never ran out, how it always felt enough. She pours oil into a clay bowl we use for supper. It glistens, gold and thick, resting in slow spirals. The scent drifts toward us, earthy, green, gentle. I dip the edge of bread into the oil, watch it soak up the gold. It feels heavy now but soft. Usually we talk a little. Tonight there's no need. Every sound is muffled, tucked under the wings of evening. My mother chews quietly, pausing now and then to wipe crumbs from her lap. Taking a bite, I let the bread linger on my tongue, chewy, warm, just enough salt. The oil smooths it, leaves my lips slick. I chew slowly, chasing the bits with my tongue, careful not to miss a crumb. The taste is the taste of our home. Safe, good, no surprise. Olives sit in a shallow dish, thin and wrinkled. I choose one with my fingers and press gently. The flesh gives way, bitter at first, then calm. I swallow, and my chest feels heavy and warm. Mother adds a pinch of salt to the oil and stirs with a sliver of bread. The sound is soft, bread against clay, quiet and round. She hands me a piece, soaked and speckled, and I eat it. The salt sharpens the edges for a moment, then melts away in the softness. I watch her hands, how they move, how they smooth the cloth beneath the plates, how she catches the crumbs and tucks them away. She moves slowly, like there is nothing else to do tonight. No rush, no noise. The loaf shrinks but never feels small. The house feels safer this way. Bread and oil, the sound of chewing. Our breaths find the same rhythm. Each bite a small promise. Each pause a gentle invitation to rest. Outside a dog barks. Someone calls for a child. Then the world returns to quiet. Night presses in, heavy but soft. As I swallow another mouthful, I think of the others who ate today. So many faces, their hands holding bread like this. Hundreds, maybe more, biting, chewing, swallowing, passing the loaf from one pair of palms to another. No names, no noise, just the sound of food and the hush that followed. I imagine them in their homes tonight. Maybe some eat lentils, maybe cheese or figs. Maybe their bread is thin or burnt or soft like ours. I wonder if they think of today as they eat, if anyone else remembers, if the taste lingers for them too. For a moment I close my eyes. The smell of bread and oil wraps around me. I feel the basket's weight again from earlier, full then empty, then somehow full again. The memory is thick and gentle. It settles in my chest. My mother finishes her last bite, sets the crust aside. She leans back against the wall, tucks her feet under her robe. The cool clay of the bowl chills her fingers. She runs them across the surface, slow circles, before folding them in her lap. We're still sitting together, not speaking, not moving much. The only noise is our breath and the faint sound of a neighbor's bowl scraping. I let the silence stretch, fill me up almost as much as the food. It feels good not to talk. It feels right to let the moment pass quietly. I pull apart one last piece of bread, thumb pressing down until it splits. The crust flakes, the inside stretches and settles. I dip it again, let it drink up the last of the oil. I chew, swallow. My belly is full, not heavy, not tight, just satisfied. I think about today, about all the hands, the food, the way the bread seemed to multiply with every passing. At the end of the meal, Mother gathers the crumbs together. She nudges them onto the cloth, folds the edge over. Her hands are gentle, she never wastes even a seed. The bowl is empty now. The loaf is gone. My hands are oily but clean. I wipe them on the edge of my tunic, the smell of grain and salt lingering on my skin. Mother stands, carrying the bowl and cloth to the corner. She leaves them there for morning. I stay sitting, letting my back press against the wall, eyes half closed. No one says a prayer tonight, but I feel one inside me, quiet and steady, grateful for bread, for oil, for quiet rooms and slow evenings, for being filled and never asking more, for being unseen but still held in God's care. As the last bit of light disappears, I breathe, and the smell of bread is still there. I listen to the house creak and settle. I think about all the homes, all the families sharing what they have. I think about today and how it lives on in every bite, every silence, every slow and living breath. The night folds around us, and it is enough. Evening settles soft around me, quieter than before. There is the lamp, the one we use most nights, shallow, made from clay half full of oil, with a bit of wick that always burns a little uneven. Someone lights it, and I watch how the flame starts small, slow at first, then becomes steady. It only just keeps the dark away. Shadows find the corners. I let them. The walls blush with gold, faint and moving shadows dance, but they keep their voices to themselves. I lie down. I am not really tired, but I close my eyes a little anyway. It feels easier not to speak. My basket is near, the one I carried today. I reach for it with my hand, lazy and slow. The rim feels rough under my fingers where the reeds bend and twist. Some of the crumbs are still there, just a few, clinging from supper. I brush one away, gentle, careful not to make a sound. My breath falls in time with the flicker of the lamp. The flame leans left, I breathe in. It straightens, I breathe out, I let it guide me, slow and steady, as if the lamp teaches me how to be small and bright for just this moment. The longer I watch, the more I feel emptied out, but it is not a lonely feeling. It is safe here, small things are held, and quiet things are seen. The room is wrapped in a hush so deep, it feels like being under blankets. The only sound is the crackle from the wick. It pops, then goes quiet, and I find myself listening even closer. There is nothing to do, nothing I must remember. The basket is empty except for little smudges of flour and the memory of fish scales. I turn it slowly in my lap, thinking of nothing and no one sometimes. The oil in the lamp moves when someone walks past, just enough to make the flame shudder. My mother hushes footsteps, careful not to spill the silence we've made tonight. I look at her just once, but she doesn't see me. She is folding cloth, her hands moving slower as evening fades. I notice how the firelight bounces inside the lamp. Its amber dance echoes the beat of my heart. I match my breathing to its rhythm, in and out, not rushing. Just waiting for the next moment, and the next. I remember the proud way I held the basket earlier. Now, it's just me, the rim, and the feather-light touch of my thumb tracing its edge. My eyes close. For a moment, I wonder if God can feel how quiet I am. If he listens as I do to the lamp and the soft breathing of the house. I do not think of the crowd or the hungry faces. Now the world is smaller, a circle of light, the breath in my chest, the warmth on my cheek. My worries shrink with the flame. There is only peace and a pillow beneath my head and the lamp's steady glow. Let the silence stretch farther. Let this golden hum hold you. My eyelids feel heavy. The world becomes softer, shapes slipping into gentle blur. He asked for nothing and still felt full. I asked for nothing and still, here I am, safe beneath this flickering lamp, waiting to drift where God can reach me. I step outside, pressing the wooden door shut behind me until it sighs. The air is a cool hand on my cheek. Nothing important waits, just the night waiting to be noticed. The sky is soft, barely blue. Stars show up, one by one, like someone lighting tiny lamps far away. I rest my back against the stone wall, scratching my heel in the dirt. My basket is empty, leaning by the threshold. A beetle clicks inside a crack. Someone's broom sweeps dust from a porch 2 doors down. Swish, swish, then quiet. Over the wall a goat coughs softly. The whole village breathes slow, round, easy breaths. I look up again. There's the first bright star. Then another and another. Each one just hangs there silent. You could almost miss them if you blinked. My toes find pebbles in the earth. I curl them tight, then loose again, tight, then loose, letting the coolness move up through my legs. Every sound around me is slower now, like the world itself is getting ready to lie down. A door latch clicks, it echoes then fades. Someone's mother calls out, one last good night. I let my jaw go slack, breathing with the crickets. Their chirrs come together, then pull apart. Sometimes loud, sometimes soft, then almost nothing at all. The night settles again and again. Breath in, breath out, I think of the bread from this afternoon, how it felt thick in my hands, how I carried it without knowing where it would end up. Things happen, then they're finished, but the quiet keeps going. The bread is gone, the basket empty, but the air feels full somehow. My eyes slip closed for one long blink. When I open them, more stars. The sky's growing wider, gentle and deep. The darkness wraps the homes and the noises shrink down to just the softest edges. Footfalls in sand, the hush of a neighbor's voice. Out here, nothing is asked of me. No one needs me to be brave or clever. I only stand in the doorway, just breathing in what is left. Breathe in and out. Wind finds my tunic and tugs at the hem. Little insects spin stories in the grass. The stones under my feet are still warm from sunlight, slowly letting go, side by side, each one fainter than the last. The world feels very wide. Far beyond our garden, hills melt into darkness. The stars multiply without a sound. I wonder if anyone else is watching too. My mother's voice is just inside the doorway, humming to herself, careful not to wake the little ones. I don't call to her. I stay quiet, listening again and again and again. Even the chickens have stopped fussing. The well bucket knocks, then rests. I hear all the ways things settle at night. A sheep stamp, the turning of straw, a far child laughing once then gone. Another easy breath. Sometimes I think the world holds itself together with small things, like doorways, night air, a child offering bread. No one notices, but somehow nothing is lost. The quiet carries it onward, underneath everything. I stand there as long as I am allowed. I let the night do what it always does, close, soften, slow everything to a sleepy hum. There's nothing more to wait for. The darkness is not empty. It is gentle. It is whole. I feel safe in it. Breath in, breath out. The night keeps going, and so do I, until the world is nearly silent and I am ready to drift back inside. The sky outside is blue and gray. The air is quiet. Not even the goats make a sound now. It's time to sleep. I move slow in the low golden light, picking up my tunic from the hook on the wall. My hands know the shape of the cloth, the familiar weight of it, like the shape of my day, gathered in my arms. There's dust in the folds. A pale line where the edge brushed against the road and up by the collar, a bit of sunlight caught from standing in the crowd. I hold it and I remember how still things became. Just before the loaves and the fishes, how everyone waited and how simple it felt to give what little I had. Now the bread is gone and the fish are gone, but the tunic still smells like sun and sea. I smooth it out over my knee, gentle, never rushed. The fabric is thick and plain. My thumb presses against the grain, flattening a crease, careful as if I were making bread. I like the small hush of these moments, the soft sound when I fold the sleeves, the careful folding of the hemline. There's no need to hurry. The room is small. My heart quiets. With every fold, I press down a little of the day's hurry. I let out a slow breath. I think how folding something can feel like prayer if you do it slow enough. Each crease I make is a line of calm. Each gentle touch is for the sake of rest, laying down what I carried while the world outside lets go of light. My basket sits empty by the mat. My feet ache from walking, but the ache is slow. Good, a sign that today passed through me like the wind through the grass. My tunic holds the steps and the dust and the nearness of Jesus, even if he never saw me at the edge, standing quiet beside the water. I was there. I am here now, a tiny life, folding cloth at dusk. I think of you maybe, wherever you are, moving through your own simple tasks for the night. Maybe you smooth the sheets, turn over a cup, dim the lights, close the drawer, or brush your hair. When you do, go slow, let each movement be gentle, a prayer for your soul. It might not look like much, but it matters. God notices the smallest offering, even folded laundry. Now I set my tunic by my sleeping mat where it will hold tomorrow's steps. It waits in quiet, holding space for another day, another chance to watch or to give or just to listen. The night grows deeper. Even the wind sounds drowsy. I'm grateful for something soft against my skin, something steady to end the day. My hands come to rest on my knees. I breathe, and somewhere I know God breathes with me. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, let these silent, steady actions become something sacred. Let every crease you press, let every blanket you tuck be an unspoken prayer, not for answers, just for peace. You don't need to do more. You are seen just as you are in the quiet of this small hour. Rest now. Let your burdens settle. Tomorrow will come, but it isn't here yet. Your small, gentle tasks matter. The folding, the breathing, the letting go. Even if you feel unseen, your care is enough. The Lord is near, even in silence, especially there. The mat waits for me. It's not new, but it's clean, and it smells of sun-warmed rushes and a corner of fresh linen. Some of the reeds still make a quiet sound if I shift my weight. I notice that when I first kneel down, both my knees press in, pressing a deeper shape into where I'll rest tonight. I let my arms fall at my sides, then cross them light on my chest. That's how I like to settle. It's how my father rests, and sometimes I copy him, even though no one else is here to see. I took off my sandals, tucked them near the wall. The dust from today sits in their cracks. It doesn't matter. I'm done walking for now. My eyes are open, but not really looking at anything. A folded cloth waits near my head, cool from dusk. It gives a faint, clean smell if I breathe in slow. I let my breath move the way the sea did earlier. The sea doesn't hurry. It just comes and goes. My stomach rises a little, falls a little. I hear my own breath make a soft sound against the mat. That feels nice, almost secret. The quiet makes everything seem a little bigger, but not in a scary way. The room is safe. I know every shadow, every bump in the wall. Sometimes someone calls this the time for prayers. I don't say much tonight. My body feels tired, but not the kind of tired that's heavy. Just finished. Like things are done for now. The mat gives easily, just enough, taking the weight out of my legs. My feet stretch out, toes wriggling in free space. They don't need to be anywhere. All that needs to happen now is breathing in and letting go. I think about the bread and fish I gave, not in a big way, just a picture of the basket, the way it felt in my hands, not heavy but important. For a moment, I remember the look on Jesus' face when he took it, how his eyes were gentle, not rushed. How small things can feel enough, but that feels far away now. The bread is gone, the basket is empty next to my bed. I touched the weave before I put it down. The reeds are smooth and a little loose. I'm glad it's empty, glad that it was used. The night air drifts in, cooling my arms. My breath slows down again. I notice. Breathe in, chest rises like a gentle wave. Breathe out, chest falls soft. There's nothing else to do. The day is finished, like bread crumbs picked up after a meal. I gave what I could. No one is waiting for anything more. The stars are outside, but I don't need to look at them. I know they're there. The dark is gentle tonight. It sits on the windowsill, not coming in too fast. It waits like me. Sometimes I listen for the sounds other people make, someone turning over on their mat, a low voice, a single laugh from the street. I'm not alone. But it's quiet enough that I can almost forget they're there and let the stillness come closer. My shoulders are loose now. My jaw unclenches. I didn't know I was holding all that. I move my fingers on the mat just to feel the texture, the way each reed presses back. It's simple, honest, like nothing in this room is trying too hard. It just is. The linen blanket comes up to my chest, not too heavy, not too light. I slip my hands underneath, palms flat. I feel my own heart beating, slow and steady. Maybe it matches the rhythm of the sea, maybe not. It doesn't matter much, just that it goes on. I let my breath line up with that, just in and out. No forcing, no fixing. Just being here, soft and small like a pebble under water. I think about tomorrow, but not for long. The day is far away and I am here. Now, that's enough. Every time I drift close to sleep, it's like leaving one shore, floating to the next. My breath helps me get there, like tiny boats rocking, carrying me through dark water I don't need to be afraid of. Nothing is required from me, not now. I let my eyes close halfway, just enough that the world turns soft. All the sharp edges blur like water on stone. My body feels lighter now, arms floating just above my rib cage, toes wiggling in blankets, neck loose, mouth barely open, not cold, not hot, just right. I rock my head a little side to side, a last small move. My ears catch the hush of the room. No words, no lists, no stories. Nothing but this steady, soft mat holding me up. I realize my breath is even slow without me trying. Maybe the mat is helping. Maybe it's just something I learned, but I feel safe. I haven't done anything special, but tonight it feels like enough. The last thing I feel before I drift, my hand brushes the empty basket, the place where the food was. I picture it, but only for a second. It's quiet now. Everything is quiet, even my thoughts. I don't try to hold on. I let the room go dark, the kind of dark that makes the bed softer, not scary. The mat smells like the sea and a clean shirt, like home and plain grass. I remember that Jesus didn't ask for much. I didn't give much, just what I had. It was enough. There is nothing more to do tonight. My breathing takes care of itself, soft and steady, like tides, like sleep coming in. Each slow wave lets me sink deeper into the mat, into rest. There's no hurry, no noise, Just the quiet miracle of being here with nothing left to give and nothing to lose. And I know not because anyone tells me, but because I feel it in the way my body settles, that even here, even in this plain quiet, everything is held, just enough. Until morning comes, I rest, I stay, I am known, and I let go. Through a crack in the shutters, the moon finds its way in. It isn't bright, not enough to wake anyone, just a soft line sliding across the floor. It moves slow, as though it has all night. He lies on his mat, a little curled basket tucked beside. The bread is gone now, the fish too, but he can trace the bottom of the basket with his thumb, the weave under his finger, round and round. He watches silver shapes unfolding on the clay. Quiet patterns drift. He lets them move as if they are old friends come to visit, shapes that say nothing out loud but choose to keep company. Faces shimmer at the edge of his mind. Not sharply, just the gentle feeling of being among many, holding bread, passing it along. The press of hands, the wordless thank you, the tiny nod when enough food lands in someone's arms. No need for names now, no need for counting. The crowd blurs together into small moments, the echo of kindness almost weightless. Moonlight doesn't say good job. Moonlight doesn't ask him to explain. It's just there, watching over the room as everything settles. It keeps him company, nothing loud, nothing rushing. It draws silver lines across his mat, over the wall, across his bare toes if he stretches. He could reach out to touch it, but it slips away from his hand. That feels true. Some things, even quiet things, can't be caught. They are just given like breath. The room is smaller at night. The world is smaller. But the hush feels big, stretching wider than his own house. He draws his knees up to his chest. He closes his eyes, but not all the way. The silver shape over the basket is still there, and he likes that. It makes him think of the lake at night, when the water caught a bit of the moon and made it tremble. Just a thin coin of light, but it made everything seem watched, held. Sometimes he wonders if anyone out there watches over him, the way he watches these drifting shadows. He feels an answer, not a voice or a promise, just a soft sense that maybe every ordinary thing matters, that even a quiet room and an empty basket are seen. Moonlight holds the edges, gentle and slow, the way a mother draws up the blanket after a long day. He lets his thoughts ripple, the bread, the hands, the smiles, the tiredness, without needing to decide what it all meant. In this light, nothing is expected. The night doesn't ask for a prayer, but he gives thanks anyway, in the simplest way. By resting, the boy breathes in and his body sinks deeper. He watches one silver line drift higher on the wall, certain that the moon isn't turning away. Not now, not ever. There is no hurry. The moon keeps the room company, witnessing the last flickers of his waking mind. In this soft gaze, he lets go of memory's shape. Nothing is lost, only softer, until he cannot tell if he is awake or dreaming, or if the moon itself is dreaming him. Outside, the world is still. Inside, he is held, silent, small, and entirely enough. He sits at the edge of his small mat, feet tucked under, arms folded loose across his lap. The hush of the house seeps in. Every pot in the corner has long cooled. There is nothing left to put away tonight, nothing more to carry. The evening has been folded and set down. Shadows rest quietly across the walls. The lamp's gentle glow thins with every slow blink. It is the hour when words fade. He closes his eyes, not to get anywhere, but just to feel them closed. No one needs him now. There is no need to recount the day or to judge it. The basket that was once heavy is empty. The bread and fish are long gone. His hands forget the weight. Only his breath remains, coming and going like gentle water touching the shore, never in a rush. His lips move, but he makes no sound. Prayer comes, then goes again. No phrases take shape. Thoughts wander, some soft, some out of reach. They fade before they can settle. He lets them pass, like clouds rolling past the small square of night sky above him, in and out, rest and release. No one told him silence could be a prayer. He almost smiles. It is a secret he didn't know he was keeping. God still listens. The quiet is not empty. It is soft, full. Even this breath, heartbeat, quiet skin in quiet air feels received. There is no pressure to be grateful, no need to beg, not even the urge to understand. He is here, nothing more. In rest, out, release, maybe the best prayers look like nothing at all. Maybe God meets tired hearts in the stillness when eyes are closed and the world has gentled. He asks for nothing and still feels full. His whole body, so small and ordinary, rests in God's hands. He lets this truth hold him without trying to hold it back. The windows are shut. Distant voices are gone. His mother sighs, another room, another story drifting into sleep. Only his own breath answers now, in rest, out release. Every old worry, every hope, every leftover wish is laid down for the night. There is nothing left to earn. He remembers how the basket felt light after it was empty, the same now, his heart not trying to be anything else. No one will remember this quiet moment. No one notices the prayer, but it is heard. Even silence is heard. He trusts that. God is here, and that is enough. Now his chest rises and falls with slow, steady rhythm, in rest, out, release. What was ordinary is enough. The air is cool on his cheeks, his hands slow to uncurl. He does not need to understand what comes next. Tomorrow will be another day, bread to carry, maybe, laughter, maybe, or simple quiet. All that matters is breath. In rest, out, release, he lets go of everything he carried today. Old worries slip loose. He will not chase anything tonight. The gentle pull of sleep comes close, like a hand brushing the hair from his forehead. It is so easy now to let go. He does not fight the dark. He trusts it will hold him. Again, in rest, out, release. If he tries to pray, it becomes only breathing, hope carried in and out of his chest on a little tide. Even this is prayer. Even this is seen. God meets him in the invisible places, soft and silent, where no one else needs to look. He belongs. The world turns slowly. Everything waits. Everything slows. His thoughts float out beyond him, a drift of half-dreams and quiet memories that drop anchor and fall still. Nothing presses in. His lips whisper nothing. The Lord listens in silence. The boy feels it, the safety of not needing to speak at all. Even surrender takes no words. In rest, out, release, he feels the hush inside his chest, every breath a gentle yes. The basket is empty, his soul is full. Tomorrow he may speak. Tonight even his silence is enough. Nothing is missing now. In rest, out, release, he drifts, he drifts. The night listens with him. There is nowhere he must go, not even in dreams. He lets go and rests in what remains outside. The village is quiet in a way that makes your thoughts feel slower, softer. The door is closed. Everything you touched today, baskets, rough bread, fish scales, the hem of your mother's tunic, has found its place in the darkness. Your hands rest now, empty and warm beneath your blanket. The room holds the voice of the sea, just barely, a far hush beyond the stone walls. Quiet, so quiet you wonder if the night was always this deep. You can't hear the others breathing. Only the gentle tick of the lamp's flame stretching shadows up the wall. It pops, low and dull, another small heartbeat. You look up and the ceiling is deeper now, pulled into night's wideness. The quiet sky stretching beyond your roof and into God's own pocket. Your eyes close and open, close again. There's nothing more you're supposed to do. No one is asking. Gently, the world is tucking itself in. Your mat is thin, but it knows your shape. It gives a little in the right places. The weave is familiar, a rough kind of comfort, soft from all the nights before. You feel the weight of your blanket, not heavy, but enough to hold you down just right. Sometimes it slips and you pull it up again, folding yourself into it, as if the blanket understands you're tired and wants to hide you deeper. Somewhere, a neighbor closes their shutter. It's another covering, separating the hush inside from the soft night outside. Even the chickens sleep, heads tucked beneath their wings like tiny coats. You remember how your mother wrapped the bread earlier, cloth over cloth, tight to keep it fresh. Everything finds its covering, baskets, beds, shoulders, hearts. It feels right. The lamp flickers, longest shadows now. Your body loosens by degrees, toes, knees, arms, eyelids. A slow melting into the mat, the blanket, the coolness underneath. Night pulls the room closer. You picture God's hand as a cloak, drawing in the edges so nothing can slip away. Not you, not today, not the small, silent prayers you forgot to say. You aren't lonely. You're wrapped up in more than cloth. Another breath, another pause. You let the quiet fill you. The stars outside have widened in their places, as if watching but never intruding. You can almost feel their light settle over the courtyard, gentle and far. A second blanket the world wears only at this hour. Everything is covered, everything resting. Even the lamp grows tired, burning lower, then lifting itself again for a moment before giving in to sleep. You hug the blanket near your chin and listen to the silence, letting it tell you nothing is missing. Night is just a long, slow embrace, a promise. All is still, all is covered. Your breath grows slower, looser, as if every piece of you is being tucked in by something older and kinder than words. Maybe Jesus is still awake somewhere, but you don't have to be. You gave what you had. Now you are held just as you are. The cloak of night settles. The lamp whispers its last light. The room, the house, the world is covered. You drift down, deeper, safe in the hands that make coverings for all things. Sleep now, sleep beneath this gentle, holy cloak. The edge of sleep is quiet. He remembers the shore. He does not reach for it, just lets the memory float close and then drift away. Bread warm in his hands, the simple weight of it. Sometimes he can almost feel the basket resting on his knees, the crust rough beneath his thumb. But now, in the silence, these are only gentle shapes, not memories, not dreams yet, just things that wait at the edge of him. He does not try to hold on. He lets each one pass. A sunlit stone, a glimmer on the water. Loaves multiplying in the spaces between his blinking and the dark. Fish swimming as if the air was water, as if hands could glide and gather them. Hands passing food, one to another. Soft voices, grateful but never loud. No one asks his name, he does not offer it. It is enough to watch, to let the pictures come. He learned this from the evening. Not everything is for understanding.